Julia had always dreamed of exploring the United States. From the moment she landed at JFK Airport in New York, the excitement of seeing the towering skyscrapers and the bright city lights filled her with energy. She walked through Central Park, noticing the crowds of people and the statues, and she marveled at the architecture, which was different from her hometown. She visited the Metropolitan Museum of Art, observing the paintings and sculptures, and tasted bagels and coffee from local cafes. Each experience made her feel curious, happy, and eager to explore. But on her fourth day, after climbing several subway stairs quickly, she felt an unexpected pressure in her chest and a sharp headache forming behind her eyes. At first, Julia thought it was just tiredness, a normal fatigue caused by the long flight and change of time zones. Fatigue means extreme tiredness, often after activity or lack of rest. But soon the discomfort increased. Her stomach felt uneasy, a slight nausea that made her pause while walking. Nausea is the feeling of wanting to vomit. Her hands started to sweat, and she noticed a subtle dizziness, a sensation that the room felt like it was moving. She remembered her doctor's advice before traveling. Always take your symptoms seriously, especially in a new environment. Symptoms are the signs that tell you something might be wrong in your body. Because of that, Julia decided it was time to seek medical help. She found a nearby clinic online, reading reviews carefully. A clinic is a small medical facility where you can see a doctor without needing a full hospital. Reviews are opinions written by other people about the quality of the place. When she arrived, she felt a mix of anxiety and determination. The receptionist smiled warmly, asking in English, "Hello, how can I help you today?" A receptionist is the person at the front desk who welcomes patients and asks for information. Julia, speaking slowly, said, "Hello, I feel unwell. I have chest pain, a headache, and dizziness." She used the words she had practiced, knowing that pain means an uncomfortable physical feeling, and dizziness means feeling faint or unbalanced. The receptionist nodded, inputting her details, and asked whether this was an urgent situation. Julia explained that her symptoms had started 2 days ago and were worsening. A nurse called her name, leading her to a small, calm room where soft light and gentle music created a soothing atmosphere. Julia felt slightly relieved by the environment, realizing how important it was to feel safe while describing her condition. Inside the room, the nurse asked Julia to describe her symptoms in more detail. Julia explained that her chest felt tight, especially when walking fast or climbing stairs, that the headache pulsed behind her eyes, and that her stomach felt slightly upset, probably from the food she had eaten the night before. She also admitted that being alone in a foreign city increased her anxiety, which sometimes amplified her physical sensations. Anxiety is a feeling of worry or nervousness, often about future events.
The doctor entered with a calm and reassuring presence. "Good morning, Julia. Please tell me everything from the beginning," he said. Julia described her journey, including the fatigue, stress, and discomfort that seemed to grow during crowded subway rides. The doctor asked about the intensity of her pain, how long each symptom lasted, and her previous medical history. Intensity is how strong something is, in this case, how severe the pain feels. She explained a mild panic episode she had experienced during her last trip abroad. The doctor listened carefully, nodding and occasionally taking notes. After examining her vitals, the doctor suggested some tests to be thorough. A blood test to check for dehydration or infection, and an electrocardiogram, ECG, to ensure her heart was healthy. Vitals are measurements like heart rate, blood pressure, and temperature that show your general health. Dehydration means not having enough water in your body. Electrocardiogram is a test that shows how your heart is beating. While waiting, Julia reflected on how useful it was to speak clearly in English, even if the words were simple. Accurate communication allowed her to receive care quickly and safely. The results came back showing mild dehydration and elevated heart rate, likely due to stress. Nothing dangerous was found, but the doctor recommended hydration, balanced meals, and rest. He emphasized that traveling, unfamiliar food, and anxiety could amplify physical symptoms like headaches, chest pressure, and stomach discomfort. Julia listened carefully, repeating the instructions to make sure she understood. Hydration means drinking enough water, and balanced meals include proper nutrition from proteins, vegetables, and carbohydrates. The next week, Julia traveled to Los Angeles. She tried local foods, walked along Venice Beach, and admired the sunset from Santa Monica Pier. One day, after trying a new seafood dish, she felt sharp stomach pain, nausea, and slight dizziness.
Remembering her previous experience, she calmly went to a nearby pharmacy. Pharmacy is a place where you can buy medicine and consult a pharmacist. She explained to the pharmacist in English, "I ate seafood yesterday, and now I have strong stomach pain and feel dizzy." The pharmacist recommended a mild antacid, explained when to take it, and asked about allergies. Antacid is a medicine that reduces stomach acidity. Julia repeated the instructions to ensure she understood, feeling more confident with every interaction. During a group tour in the city, Julia experienced anxiety when navigating crowded areas. Her heart raced, her palms sweated, and she felt slightly dizzy. Instead of panicking, she practiced explaining her feelings in English. "I feel anxious and dizzy. My heart beats fast. I need to breathe slowly." This not only helped her manage the situation, but also prepared her for explaining symptoms clearly if she needed medical assistance. A week later, while hiking near the Hudson River, Julia tripped on a stone and scraped her knee. The wound was minor, but bled and caused her some worry. She calmly said, "I hurt my knee. It is bleeding, and I need help." At the clinic, the nurse cleaned the wound, applied a bandage, and praised Julia for explaining her condition clearly. Bleed means losing blood from a wound. A bandage is a strip of material used to cover and protect injuries. This reinforced the lesson that simple, accurate English descriptions make healthcare safer and faster. Another day, Julia visited a small clinic for a minor cough and mild fever. She described her symptoms clearly. "I have a cough for 2 days, a slight fever, and a headache. I feel tired and weak." The doctor explained that it was likely a mild viral infection. Viral infection means caused by a virus, usually temporary. He advised rest, hydration, and over-the-counter medicine, teaching her phrases like, "Take 2 tablets every 8 hours," and "Drink plenty of water." Julia repeated each instruction aloud to remember it, and felt increasingly confident in her ability to communicate effectively. During her travels, Julia also learned to explain psychological symptoms. Being away from home sometimes made her feel lonely and overwhelmed. At one clinic, she said, "I feel anxious and tired. I cannot sleep well, and I feel lonely in the city." The doctor discussed mindfulness exercises, light physical activity, and consistent sleep routines, showing her that expressing emotional states clearly in English was just as important as describing physical symptoms. Mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment without judgment. One evening, after a long day in a crowded market, Julia experienced sudden chest tightness and shortness of breath. Remaining calm, she told a passerby, "I need help. I feel pressure in my chest and my heart is racing." An ambulance was called, and at the emergency room, she described her symptoms accurately. "The pain started 15 minutes ago. I feel dizzy and sweaty. I have no history of heart problems." Shortness of breath is difficulty breathing normally. Emergency room is the hospital area for urgent medical situations. The medical staff responded immediately. Julia reflected on how clarity and honesty in English helped the doctors act quickly and efficiently. Throughout her journey, Julia kept a small journal, noting phrases she used and situations she encountered. She wrote, "I feel dizzy. My stomach hurts after eating seafood. I feel anxious in crowded places." She realized that practicing these phrases daily made her more confident and reduced anxiety during emergencies. Journal is a notebook for personal notes or experiences. On her last days in the USA, Julia traveled to San Francisco. Walking across the Golden Gate Bridge, she felt a sudden migraine triggered by bright sunlight and wind. She rested on a nearby bench and calmly explained to a fellow traveler how she felt. "I have a headache. The light hurts my eyes. I feel tired and dizzy." The traveler offered help, showing Julia that clear communication could lead to support from both professionals and strangers. Migraine is a severe headache often accompanied by sensitivity to light or sound. By the end of her trip, Julia had encountered headaches, chest pressure, stomach discomfort, minor injuries, stress, and anxiety. Each situation taught her practical medical English and how to remain calm, descriptive, and precise when talking about symptoms. She also learned to ask questions about medicine. Can I take this with food? Are there side effects? How long will it take to feel better? These interactions reinforced her confidence and independence while traveling. Julia returned home not only with memories of cities and scenery, but also with a deep understanding of how to manage her health abroad. The ability to communicate symptoms and needs clearly in English, and the skills to help others do the same. Her travel journal became a guide, a story of personal growth and practical learning. Each entry reminded her that medical English is not just words, it is a bridge to safety, understanding, and connection. She smiled, knowing that these lessons would accompany her on every future adventure, in every country, in every unexpected situation.